Hey, I'm Annette Holloway with Jesus Wired, and I'm here in Norfolk, Virginia with the incredible rapper and Christian hip-hop artist Sinai. Hey man, how are you?
Oh, she's talking to me. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. How you doing today?
Great. Can't believe I haven't seen you since the last album release party.
Oh my gosh, that was so long ago. Like, we shouldn't do that because we live in the same neck of the woods. So.
Exactly. Well, tell me how it's going and what's coming up.
Oh, well, everything is going well. We are excited about what's to come, as all of us are venturing into solo projects now and personal branding and things. And so the next show we have coming up is T.R.U.T.H. We're bringing him in for his nostalgia tour. So we'll be in Norfolk, Virginia, and we'll be in Hertford, North Carolina. So that's exciting.
2 stops, yeah.
Yeah, two stops with a Christian rap pioneer, one that I look up to, and I have looked up to for a while. So just really excited about that. And then also we have some singles coming out and working on solo projects, like I said. So we're just excited to see, what 2018 has for us.
Well, how did you get connected with T.R.U.T.H?
It's funny. We were working on an album called Safe House Project, and we sent out a shotgun blast. Like, our publicist was asking, hey, who are some dream artists that you would love to work with? Because this would be a good thing to get them on. We were like, cool. So we made like a big, long list of artists, and he called us back like, hey, this needs to be condensed a little bit. So T.R.U.T.H was on that list. And so he sent out a shotgun blast for us, and some people responded. Some people couldn't do it. They were busy working on other things and stuff. And T.R.U.T.H actually responded, and he agreed to do it. And so we were flabbergasted. I was like, what?
That is awesome.
So we tried to send him everything we had and said, take your pick, but we can only send him like a couple. So we sent him 2 songs, and he chose between those 2 records, and the rest is history. So we were able to shoot a video with him. We flew him down here from Philly to do a music video with him, which was exciting as well. And now we're going to be opening up for him twice, on 2 of his stops. So I don't know what God has for that relationship, but I'm just excited to be connected to such a humble yet inspirational guy, influential as well.
That's incredible.
Yes.
When are those 2 shows?
March 23rd, we'll be in Norfolk, Virginia at T.R.U.T.H for the Nostalgia Tour. March 24th, which is Saturday, we will be in Hertford, North Carolina. So, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, looking forward to those.
Well, tell me a little bit about your background.
Background. So, I grew up in I grew up in New Haven, Connecticut. I had an older brother, older sister, single mom for a few years before she remarried. And so just growing up in the area that we did, I mean, stereotypically, I shouldn't have made it out of where I was. I should have either had multiple kids by the time I was 21, I should have been locked up by the time I was 21, or I should have been dead by the time I was 21, based on where I grew up and statistics and everything. And so it's something my mom celebrates even now. She's like, I have 3 kids that have broken every stereotype that people put against you based on where you were born. So my sister, she didn't have any kids out of wedlock, and she wasn't, on drugs. My brother wasn't on drugs. My brother actually served in the military. He was in the Navy for a while. So my mom just celebrates the fact that we were able to break any stereotypes that are put against black people that grew up
Praise God.
where we did. So it's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, what brought you to Norfolk?
My mother actually remarried. She remarried. I get my age wrong every time because I don't really remember it, but I was probably about 9 when we actually, she remarried, and we moved down to Virginia from Connecticut. So been here ever since. So this is home too, but I still call Connecticut my home. That's where I was born. New England, baby. Bang, bang.
I'm trying to detect to see if you have a little bit of a Virginia accent. I haven't decided.
I actually do, but I don't really notice it until I go home to Connecticut, because it's funny. My wife makes fun of me sometimes because on certain words she can hear my Connecticut accent, but then when I get mad, she can really hear my Connecticut accent. But when I go back to Connecticut, they call me country because they can hear the Virginia accent.
Too funny.
So it's like on both sides, I have an accent either way, and I can't hear them. So whatever.
So what's your record label?
Renaissance Music. Renaissance Music. It was based out of Norfolk, Virginia, founded by Nigel Anderson, aka Legin. And so it's just, we are a family of artists. We don't try to do relationships out of music, because the music is something that is not always sturdy, something that is founded. You know, it's not something that's permanent. So we try to do music out of relationship because we focus more so on the relationship than the music. So we know that if we never do another show again, if we never do another album together again, if we never do another song together again, we're good as brothers because we've taken time to invest into the relationship. And so we do music out of the relationship and not vice versa. We found that to be more healthy. So
Fantastic. So do you guys get along as brothers?
oh yeah, we act like brothers too. You know, sometimes we disagree, sometimes we argue, sometimes we don't like each other, but hey, we love each other. So that's really what counts, man. So those, you know, Legend and Focus, those are my brothers, man. I love those guys.
What about Red Flag? I heard something about Red Flag.
Oh,
Trying
Red
to
Flag.
figure out what is Red Flag.
Well, this is the hat right here, and actually this is one of my shirts.
Awesome.
Red Flag is a clothing line that I actually started, and so basically, the tagline for it is "Let's Rally." So
Wow.
I go to a church called Crossroads Church in Norfolk, Virginia. It's a church where not everybody looks like me. I prefer it that way. I prefer to go to a church where everybody doesn't look like me because I can learn from them. They can learn from me about things that they might not understand because they never experienced, and vice versa. And so that is kind of the concept of Red Flag, is because we as the body divide on some of the dumbest things that I've ever heard.
Isn't that truth? Oh
Like
my
you
goodness.
baptized by sprinkling, we baptized by dunking, so we can't be in fellowship right now. And it's just
That's
like,
crazy.
really? Really? That's not, you know, our salvation. That's not something that our salvation is contingent upon. So I don't think that's something that we should split over.
Exactly.
You know, who do we agree that Jesus is? Because our whole belief system and of Christianity hinges on who Jesus is and who he said he was. So can we agree on those points? Good. We can talk about the other things later. But as long as we agree that Jesus was the Son of God, is the Son of God, I think that we can still be in fellowship. So that was kind of a long way to say Red Flag is a way to rally. You know, in the Bible, when people raise banners, they raised it to show what army or what tribe they were with. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what I want to do with Red Flag is I want to show people that the body can come together. We need to show the world what unity looks like. I heard a quote the other day and it said, unity without the gospel is the very unity of hell.
Wow.
And so people are trying to unify and come together and things, but it's like the gospel is totally absent from it. And it's like, what are we really doing? So us as the body needs to come together and show the world what unity really looks like. And so that's really the premise behind Red Flag is unity. Let's rally. Let's come together because we can be so much more effective if we're moving as one unit instead of all these individual sects that are trying to go to the same goal but not really working together because we don't agree on some things. So a house divided can't stand, and that breaks my heart. So I have a really big heart for reconciliation and unity. So the whole clothing line is stemmed based on unity and reconciliation.
So your music and your clothing line both have a theme of unity, and it's
Yes.
fantastic. Are there any other themes to your music, or what is the heart of your music?
The heart of my music, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The heart of my music is really, I realize that a lot of times people will keep their struggles to themselves because they'll feel often that nobody knows what I'm going through. Nobody knows. And so in my music, I talk a lot about those struggles and the difficulties of growing up where I grew up and being in churches that I'm in, you know, where everybody doesn't look like me, and talking about everyday struggles that every single person has experienced in one shape, form, or fashion, just to let people know that, hey, you're not alone. There are people that have experienced what you have experienced. There are ways out of what you are in, but sometimes people just need to see that there's a way out before they can actually believe that there's one. And so my goal is to connect to the people whose lives reflect the one that I've lived, and to show them, hey, there's better, there's more. There's more to life than what you're experiencing right now. And I've learned that growing up where I did. I learned that there was more to what I saw. There was more to than the gangbanging, than the drug dealing, than the prostitution. There was more. But I had to get out of that before I could actually see it. You know, so God had to really change my vantage point. And so that's kind of what I use my music for, to show people a different vantage point that they might not see from the position that they are.
So you're speaking of bringing hope to so many. What do you think do you have a particular age group that accepts your music really well or just internalizes that?
I think a wide range of people that really connect to my music are, I have to say, like maybe high schoolers, like juniors, seniors in high school, where they're actually coming into a place of needing to make decisions and choices and things for their future. I think all the way up. I mean, I don't think there's a cap, because I've had experiences where I've had older people, 60s and 70s, like, oh my gosh, I don't like rap, but I love yours. I love your music. I can understand what you're saying. And so I don't think there's really a cap as to who my music reaches. But I do know that music has the ability to transcend age, gender, and race. And so it speaks a language that anybody can translate into, So that's kind of how I use my music. Just whoever wants to lend me an ear, I want to tell you about who I am and who this Jesus is that I serve.
Well, before my last question, do you have anything else you want to tell the Jesus-wired world?
Yes. There's on my social media and my website and everything, I have a mantra called Sinai for real. And a lot of times we'll use Instagram and social media and things to paint a facade of who we want people to think that we are. And so I prefer for people to fall in love with me for who I am and not for who I'm pretending to be. And so on all social media, you'll see @Sinai for real. Even my website is sinaiforreal.com. So I just want you to know that what you see here is what you'll get when you see me in person. It's not a facade that I'm putting up. It's not a mask that I'm wearing. This is really who I am. So you kind of see what you get. So that's really all. I just want people to know that I'm being me regardless. I love who I am. I love who God made me to be, and I will continue to be who God made me to be, regardless of what anybody might say about it. And so I just want to encourage other people to do the same. Love who you are and be who you are, and strive to be who God called you to be in all of its excellence and just everything that He has destined for you. I really want people to see that I want people to see me living that out, and hopefully that encourages them to do the same.
I'm a big fan of yours, have been, since I first heard you.
She's so sweet.
And one of my favorite, Sinai's superpower is a 5-word freestyle. So you spring on him so many words, and he can rap the words, and you just have to see it. It's incredible.
Thank you.
I mean, so I have some words for you. I'm going to give you 3. Jesus wired can be 2, but
Okay.
millennium, indict,
Oh.
liaison.
Oh. Oh, wow.
And so he has to make up a rap about those words.
Wow.
I love this, what he does.
Wow. So we have millennium or millennial.
Millennium,
Mm-hmm.
indict,
Okay.
liaison.
Now, when it comes to millennium, is millennium 1,000 years?
Mm-hmm.
1,000 years? Oh. Okay, yeah. I need definitions sometimes because I'm not as smart as Annette might, Annette is. So sometimes when people give me words, I'm like, hey, define it for me, because I'm not that genius, So, yeah, millennium, indict, and liaison. Okay, thank you, Annette. Really appreciate it. Thanks, my wife, for coming up with the words too. We'll talk about that later.
You got to see this, seriously.
All right. So I'm here reaching out to the fan base of Jesus Wired, because I know that He has the power. That's why I can say that Jesus is wired. Jesus is wired because He plugs us into the Father. So if you're trying to disconnect that power, then don't even bother. You see, that's why He has people like me, and so He's sending them. He's sending them to preach the gospel even past the next millennium. So when we go past the next millennium, we're seeing people need it. And so that's why we have to preach what we really believe in. So we really believe it. And that's why I got to take flight. I take flight because, I got to serve Jesus the Christ. So when it comes to Jesus Christ, I got to really preach that life, because, yes, I was on my way to be judged, but I had to be indicted. Indicted. He fought it. So, anything that I had, He caught it. So that's why I'm really always going for His heart, because I'm often going for the Father, because that is my Father and He raised me up. So that's why I always have to come in threes like the Carter. Now, if you don't know Lil Wayne, then you really won't get that line. But I'll go keep going and see if you can get it next time. So that's why I always go and I always got to fade on. I fade on, so I take the word and I always got to play on. So anytime I play on, it's his chest that I lay on because I know that Jesus is connected to the Father. He's my liaison.
Yeah.
So that's who I talk to and that's who I walk with. So that's who my Father is. So yes, we off it. Boom.
Woohoo! Good job.
Something.
And that's just incredible.
Set
I
me
love
up.
that.
It's a
I love
setup. Don't trust her.
Well, it's obvious God's got you, and I cannot wait to see where He's going to take you next.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Jesus Wired, I want to thank Jesus Wired as well, and I want to thank the audience for taking the time to listen.
Now tell everyone where they can find you and your music online.
Yes, you can find me at my website. You can find my merch line, Red Flag Apparel, and all that at SinaiForReal.com. SinaiForReal.com. You can find me on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at SinaiForReal. All right? Come find me and let's connect.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Annette.